All right. Hello, hello. So, Kristal and I are coming to you live on a brand new platform. And we've found, especially me, but Kristal's witnessed it too, that so many women and men are battling in their bodies. So, we're ready to start having a series with multiple women on here, bringing up the body battles and ways to break through those body battles by having real conversations about what those battles are, how we can break up with that inner bully, and then how we can continue to become our highest self. So Kristal is back. We interviewed her, was that last week or the week before?
Yep.
She got to share some of her story, but we're going to dive in even deeper today on where she was actually at. What were some of the battles she was facing? So Kristal, welcome and start it off.
So welcome. It's great to be here again. I'm honored that Megan, she saw my growth. She saw how I blossomed. So we're going back to the body battles where I started from, all my insecurities. I, as long as like my hair, my face looked good, I was okay. But I was just so negative. Like so negative. Yeah, I know last week I had shared about me getting burned when I was a baby to my weight loss surgery, and then go into deeper into that. You get so spread thin, like through life, being everything to everyone.
Yes.
I didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time to, invest nothing so that I can be better. So, by the time the end of the night came, then I'm just laying there feeling worthless again. And, you get up and it was a cycle. So when I did Megan's program and I had to break down exactly what the body battles were. And for me was, again, the weight loss surgery. But what was it going to do to change that? I couldn't keep complaining about something and then not fixing it. And I find out that I was doing that. Sometimes I still do that. How long have I been complaining about my arms, Megan?
Well, but did you think that you needed to be fixed in order to be loved, that you needed to be fixed
Yeah.
in order to be seen, you needed to be fixed in order to achieve whatever it is that you went out into the world? Was it this fixing mentality?
Yep. Yeah, 'cause you just don't feel like you're enough. It's like I felt like I had to get to a certain level, for people to accept me for who I was. No one was gonna want me unless I was this size or my weight this little or whatever. I mean, I don't know. So I had to go through. I had to do like write it like in a circle like we did in school, and then like veer off. What was it exactly? And I was just like, wow, I had so much from. I never even had a full body mirror. I didn't want to. I tried to.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would never. I actually got one a couple months ago, but it broke. But yeah, so I don't want to. I never had a full body mirror. As long as I could see my face up, then and this looked good, then I was okay. But again, I still had the insecurity like deep inside.
You had even said last week when we did the interview that you said you want to start taking more pictures full body because you were so taking pictures up front. And again, that is growth. The growth of you figuring out, hey, like I'm not always comfortable going out in the water and having my arms showing or my body showing or whatever. It's seeing what you're battling and what you feel like isn't where you truly want to be and how to get out of your own way there. Like that's where the breakthrough and stuff happens.
Right. Well, that's why I put that full body picture on my profile, because it was a step. You have to make a step forward. So I did that, but I felt like all my pictures, and if you go through my Facebook profile, it was my face, because I felt like if anyone could see from my shoulders down, they'd be like, ooh, look at her, look at that. And I was already struggling with it. I just didn't, I don't know. I just didn't know how to get past that. So that's why I was like, this looks good. So my, what were we talking about what were we talking about this before?
Well, basically all the battles. And so I think what we've done is you lay it all out. Like you put it all out because you're going around in a circle and you're just like, man, I want to get off this hamster wheel. I want to get off this treadmill. Like what, like help me, help me, help me. So once you figure out what all the battles are and you lay them all out, that doesn't mean that you're going to stay there and stay stuck anymore. You've taken the first piece and you figured out the awareness around the battles. You're
Yep.
facing them, you're seeing what they're rooted in, and now you have to realize, guess what? You might have been bullied in your life. You might have had people around you in your life that didn't see your worth and didn't treat you like you had worth. But out of all those people, who is the number one bully? It's yourself.
Yep.
So we have to learn how to break free and break up with that bully.
Yep. Yeah.
And so what do? In the course, what do? We stripped away, right?
Right.
How about work? Every single day we what?
Took the layer off. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Megan. When you're talking about, like I had to lay it all out, you don't even have to attack all of them right away either. You know, everything is just a process. And it was overwhelming at first, but then really when you can break it down, you're like, oh, okay, I got that. But fear is huge because just the not knowing of what's going to happen. So once I could actually just be like, okay, I'm going to focus on this. Today, I am not going to self-sabotage myself at all. In fact, I'm going to start in the mirror. I'm going to tell myself how awesome I am. And then just the day, just be like, you know what? That outfit does look nice. That shirt really compliments you. So it was just starting little, but then those little things, like we said last week, those end up being the big things.
Yep.
So, and there's still stuff on that circle that I don't have off, but it's not about being fixed overnight. It's just it's a process and it's continuing to consistency.
Yep.
Consistency is huge for so many things.
Well, that's the thing. You said it. You nailed it on the head right there. Sometimes we see this problem and we're like, I'm just, you have those feelings. You have those days where it's like, I have too much. Like, I have too much to fix. I got this, and you list all these different things. But what happens when we break it down? We keep it simple. Well, the simple is going to overcome the overwhelm. And you're going to be able to show up and do one thing every single day, and it's not going to be so overwhelming. It's not going to feel like I can't do this, I'm gonna throw it away. Instead, it's like what you said, you're consistent, and then that consistency compounds over time, and then you're like, I've done this.
Yep, I do. I can walk like that now with that crown that we talked about, but there's still things that I do work on, like we talked about last week. Some things on there that would make me feel better and be a better version would be the working out. And I know I'm not real consistent with it because not that I have excuses, but I didn't like get up earlier. You have to take that time out. You have to take time out for yourself. And so that helped me also, like on my boundaries or no, the body battles, like what can I change? This has to change. So what steps was I going to do to change this? And that was another thing. You have to tell people no. That was the most empowering thing. The first time I said it, I was scared because I was a doormat. People walked on me all the time. But I can be assertive aggressive now and be kind. So once I can actually say like the no, because this is my time. Like this is time for me now. It's gone so long. Like that whole, it was just years and years of just not loving myself. Even though I know I'm the king's daughter, even though I know I belong to Christ, we still like, I just didn't feel like I was enough for no one. So, but now it's not even like that.
Well, and I think that that's something right there too, is like sometimes we get so stuck that we feel like we have to get unstuck to even receive help. No, like come to me, bring it to me. You are not too much. Your problem's not too much. Like we all have very similar battles, no matter what race we are, what size we are, what age we are. We've realized that. So if you know that you're stuck and you're battling these struggles, what's keeping you from being stuck? Because it's not going to be a quick fix. We just like first we battle, then we break up with the bully, then we become. And become is something that's going to continue to happen. It's something that's happening now in the present, and who you're going to be in a year, who you're going to be in 10 years, who you're going to be in 50 years, whatever it is. But it's a continual thing. Becoming is in the future as well. So it's like what you said, the things that were keeping you stuck, but what do you need to continue to work on now? What are your goals now? Who do you want to be next year? Who do you want to be at the end of this year? And continue to do the things that are going to get you to that point without being overwhelmed and without throwing in the towel and figuring out your own steps. And so I think that's the big thing that you nailed earlier, is that we keep it simple. We keep it doable. We keep it actionable. We keep it efficient, so that you can do it no matter what your schedule is like. Because you used to listen all the time in the car, right?
Yeah, I still do. I think that's what made it simple too, was It's, you can, on your way to work, on a
Mhm.
walk, on the bike, while you're working out, um, while you're making dinner. I mean, it is simple. It can fit into like any life. You just have to, how bad do you want it? Like, what's your rock got, or what's the rock bottom going to be? I mean, this program came perfect for me. It came at the right time that I had a lot of transitions from, you know, being a mom at a young age to raising one of my grandkids to now I was going to just be me. And I
Mhm.
was like, I don't even know who I am. I put so much of myself into so many other people that I was like, who am I? I know I didn't like myself. You know, I didn't like the mirror. You know, I just didn't. I knew I was a good person, but I still felt like other people looked at me different. But it wasn't them. It was like you said, it's just me.
Mhm.
It was my own critic. So once I wrote it down, how are we going to attack this? Attack it day by day, and
Mhm.
then breaking up with it. Like, just think,
Yep.
cross it off. You know what? Like last week, I just have this because we got a thing on, but
Well, and I think the big thing is oftentimes we feel behind. I know that for me, that's one of my biggest struggles. Sometimes when I'm trying to go after something, I feel behind,
yep,
and I got that a fear. I realized my roots came from when I was in first grade. Anytime that I didn't have something done, I don't know if you knew this or not, but if I didn't have my homework done, and I was like a perfectionist by this amount of time in
mm-hmm.
school, then my recess was revoked. So
Yeah,
I'm like, oh. And so it would give me anxiety. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have this thing taken away if I'm behind. How about it takes me longer? All this stuff. When in all reality, being behind, there's beauty in that. Like you get to figure out exactly where you're stuck, and we can dissect it and tap into where do you still need growth? Because who says that you have to be at this point in your life
yeah,
to achieve anything? Like there's people breaking goals down, breaking records, and doing things that were thought impossible just because they said, I'm possible. I can do this.
yep,
Even if it takes me 20 years, even if it takes me, I don't know, going back to school at 70, like I'm gonna figure this out.
yep, yep.
I think it's that's that belief too.
Mm-hmm. When you just talked about the anxiety too, this bulletproof really kind of helps. Like, I don't have the anxiety like I used to have. You know, I used to be like, I gotta do this, this, and this, and now I realize that doors close for reasons.
Yep.
Maybe things don't happen at a certain time because sometimes there's something better ahead of you, or maybe
Mhm.
something's going to come at you at a different angle. So I had to open up my blinders.
Mhm.
But I don't have that. I can actually stop, think about it, dissect it like you taught me to, and
Mhm.
then see really what it is. And sometimes it's really petty or it's something really simple, but
Mhm.
our mind again is that prison. So it was something that was bigger. So that I just want to say that too. That
You'll be like, not today, bully, not today. And we notice that stuff now. When you get
mm-hmm,
clear and more aware, like what we talked about yesterday, you can stop something in its tracks and it's not going to have power over you anymore because
yeah,
you're aware of the things that are trying to become the obstacle, that are trying to bully you into keeping you small. So that's a big piece. I think that something that a lot of people struggle with is two things. They say, I don't have the time.
yep,
And the other thing is they don't have the money.
yep,
And for me, you get to a point, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you get to a point where you're just so stuck, you're at that rock bottom, you're like, help me. I don't care. I will do whatever it takes, like what you said.
yep,
And I think the excuses are a way that the bully is trying to keep you small. The excuses have an exit. There's an exit at the top front of the door. Those excuses can go. And
yep,
I'm going to use my own example for a second because I thought about this the other day. I was at a point where I knew something had to change and I had to take massive action, like scary, scary action. I was telling Derek this. And I said, I realized that the excuses are going to keep coming up, but how are you going to move through that? Because I moved away from every single person I knew to New York. I spent my life savings. I had to beg my parents to help pay for the other half of my stay, and I had to completely change everything. That's way more than the investment of this program. I mean, that my move was so much money, but it was worth it. But you don't have to physically move away to have a transformation. But you have to get to that point where you say, you know what, I'm worth it. I'm ready to do whatever it takes.
yeah,
I'll find the time to make it worth, no matter if I have all these kids and I'm working 3 jobs. I will find the money, even if I have to give up Starbucks every single day and make coffee at home. I will find a way. I will work. I will babysit. I will something. in order to work on myself. I don't know what you feel like when it comes to that.
No, because I think too, it's like, what's your why? Like in all of it too, like what's your why? And if your why don't make you cry, it's not strong enough.
Yep.
Just like, what are you willing to give up? If you have to give up that one meal of fast food a day, your program, when you break it down, it's like $7 a day. Like, it's so cheap. It's simple, it's cheap, it's affordable, and it is life changing. It is like the transformation just from when I see myself, even in pictures back then till now. I'm just like, wow, like, I'm glad I broke up with that person back there. Am I still working? Absolutely, because it's an everyday thing. But the excuses, I'll be the first one to admit now. I sometimes use truck driving as an excuse because some days it is hard. I mean, you have to be in the trucking to know, when you don't get a lot of sleep, but you can do squats in the cab. You can bring weights. I mean, there's things. So that is one thing that I know that I haven't even told Megan yet, but after you need to go back and listen to Derek and Megan's video that you guys posted on the other day, about, making excuses, working out. You might have to help me exactly with the title of that one.
Just figuring out like where when is enough? That was like our big behind that. When's enough?
Yep.
And where are you at that point where you're like, okay, I need to change. This was my battle. How am I going to break up with these old habits? And how am I going to become this version of myself? It really, truly just becomes about that. And so I want you to think for a second, and then we'll ask them to be open too.
Okay.
Where do you think you would have been had you not gone through Bulletproof, like right now?
I probably have been on some depression medicine for sure, because I had a huge change, with my granddaughter. I mean, she's doing amazing. Like my oldest granddaughter, she is in great hands. I'm so grateful, that she had two parents step to the plate, to give her a better life. But I felt like something died inside of me because I had had her for so long. So I would have been on depression medication. I probably would have been an alcoholic. I probably wouldn't have done a drug, but I just would have I wouldn't have cared. I would have probably just slept. I just wouldn't have lived my life to its fullest. I probably would have isolated myself a lot and not like interact. But man, now it's just not like that. Like you wake up with purpose. You wake up with, I'm attacking the day. And I've said this because I'll keep saying this, but what Derek said a while back about that 20 minutes in your day. What do? Do you pick up your phone and get on Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok? What are you doing the minute you get up to invest in yourself? Because if you don't put that time in the beginning, I feel like for me, I have to do that because then I'm that better version of myself for the day. Like my mind, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I start my day off with worship music. Just mindset. Then I start off with my devotions. And now I really need to be consistent. Like I said, I'll admit right now, I'm not consistent with working out. I'll do it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. It's becoming.
Becoming. Yes, it's becoming. Yep.
Well, so now, like, I know that you've shared with me now, you feel freedom. You feel like you have boundaries. Boundaries are bae.
Yes.
You feel like you have purpose again. You feel aligned. You feel, okay, let's continue to work on the next 2.0 version, 3.0 version of me. And it's not a quick fix. So I think that I want people watching this to figure out, what are you battling right now? Like, where's your biggest battle? What are you struggling with? What do you need to come to terms with and face and then break up with? And to reach out to me, reach out to Kristal. Either of us can help you just like have that space. And it's not going to be as scary as what you think when we break it down. Because that's what you had said first. It's not overwhelming when you break it down and then you just show up. That's all you got to do. Boom.
I just write a list. What was the most important to me at that time? What was going to be something that I could, kind of like when you pay a bill, you want to pay the small stuff and then the bigger stuff. Well, that's how I do it. But I was like, where was I going to feel like accomplished? Because when you see results, you get motivated. So when you kind of, I still have that big one on there. Like me and Megan, we used to work out every morning. Megan still works out, but that it's that becoming, the better version. Because now that I am going to do my full pictures, it's motivating me too. Because I'm looking at that now. Before I wouldn't look at that. I'd only like everything was face only. So becoming for me too. Anyone can talk to us. I mean, I'll tell you my story. I could tell you maybe what works for me, but It's so simple. It seems overwhelming, but it's not. It's simple. It's simple, and applying yourself is huge. You know,
Trying to put something on here now, thing is working.
we just have to put.
So there we go. So at the very bottom, if you want to know more information about the actual Bulletproof program, go to makechurch.com. Basically, on there, this is the whole thing about repairing your relationship with yourself.
Yep.
We also do romantic relationship help as well. Yep. All the information's on there. You can also reach out, send messages. We'll help you. And you got anything else, Kristal?
No, I think though it's so, like we talked about last week too, that, and I just repeat some of this just in case someone didn't see the video last week, but it starts with you. It starts with you. You can't skip around. Like, you have to learn to love yourself. Yeah, it's like the process.
Yep.
You got to get all those ducks in line, because I didn't even know where my ducks were. They were everywhere.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing that makes us different. It's like a lot of times we feel like we have to have more and more and more and more and more, and we can't even keep up with that more and more and more. Sometimes, most times, it's about stripping away, removing. Less is more, so that then you can become more of yourself, because there's less clutter, there's less negative bully chatter going up in your head, and you can move from there. You don't necessarily need the next new fitness, diet, food plan, bag to carry around, the new outfit, the new man, whatever it is. Sometimes it just is stripping away all those layers that are preventing you from seeing how amazing and how bulletproof you truly are.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like I know, I tried everything out there, every new fitness pill, shake, whatever it was out there, but it still didn't matter if it's done on the inside.
Yep.
And taking care of what's here first. It's not gonna. I don't know. It's just, it's within that shines out, and then you're more aware of stuff. Like I know we said that too. I'm just more cautious of so much more now. But I would just say, y'all reach out if you need help. Megan's phenomenal. Like I said last week, she's 1 Corinthians 13. She is very patient, very motivating, or you're going to hear some constructive criticism, but it's not in a bad way. It might just be she cares. Megan's heart is phenomenal. It's huge, but she wants you to do good. You know, she knows because she's been there. So just let her help.
Thank you so much. You've always been like my biggest bulletproof evangelist, and I want to continue to have more conversations on here. People that have been through bulletproof, or people that haven't, just about the body battles and things that they're going through, and to continue to make people feel less alone and less stuck and less isolated and less in the darkness, whatever their self-sabotaging behavior is, and shed light on that. So thank you so much.
See you, friend. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna hit done. Guys, enjoy your rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.